In the book Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut Jr., Billy Pilgrim famously becomes unstuck in time. Now, it's one of those things that sounds ridiculous and happens in science fiction stories or happens in novels like Slaughterhouse-Five, where someone could somehow be unstuck in time and be bouncing around through all these different periods of life. But I dreamt last night about an apartment I used to live in Long Beach on Nieto Avenue, 69 and a half Nieto Avenue. Now, it's interesting, I don't remember the apartment number that I was in, and I don't think it was the correct apartment number. And on top of that, in the dream, I went into the wrong apartment and interrupted people, assuming this was my apartment. And it reminded me of last year, a friend of mine died, and I hadn't been to the house for, I don't know, 25 years or more. So I went over to see her husband, and they live in a rural area just east of us here. And though I hadn't been there in 25 years, I was pretty sure I could find the right house. I was so certain that I went in, it was a Rams playoff game, opened up the front door, walked in, watched the game for a little bit, thought to myself, geez, you know, their kids and grandkids sure don't look the way I remember them. But it's been 25 years. And suddenly someone stood up, turned around, and looked at me and said, can I help you, mister? And I was in the wrong house completely. It was as if I'd been unstuck in time. Here I thought I was in the right house. I was a mile away from the correct house. I asked what the score was. I didn't know what else to do. I apologized for my intrusion. They asked me if I wanted something to eat. Did I need some help? I told them whose house I was looking for. They had no idea who these people were. I mean, it was a mile away. And fortunately, I had the telephone number, and I was able to call and get good directions to be able to get to the correct house. But I think about how often we become unstuck. This dream last night taking me back to Nieto Avenue in Belmont Shore. In the dream, so many things were disjointed, and yet so many things reminded me of old memories. And I woke up remembering good times, remembering good friends, remembering sad times, remembering just all the stuff that comes out of a house that you hold on to where you've been kind of unstuck. And I think sadly some of us become unstuck in our lives. We're constantly bouncing between one memory or the other. We're constantly bouncing between one good time or the other until we're lost and we're wandering into places where we think we belong and we really don't belong. And people are looking at us and saying, excuse me, buddy, can we help you? And they may be gracious, but it's not the gracious we're supposed to be in the middle of. I don't know if you've started to live a life that's filled with nostalgia and only looking backwards in your memories. I don't know if somehow you've become unstuck in the time where you belong. But each of us have a time where we belong, and that time is today. The time where the best things, in fact, where the only good things can happen for us is today. And for us, when we hold on to memories that hurt us or have harmed us or just feel like the best times of our lives, but we don't allow ourselves to move forward, we're damaging today. And in the same way, when we hold on to pain, when we hold on to suffering, when we hold on to that which we have to process through, we have to grow through, we damaged everything that can happen today. If you're unstuck just a bit, why not make a move and step into where you're meant to be? You're meant to be in today. Now, I've obviously come across a house where some dogs don't like people vlogging behind their house, so I'm gonna clear out. Hi guys, how you doing? I try my best as a runner not to violate the dogs in the area as I'm out running, and I try to find the quiet spots to try to do it, but sometimes I just make such a mistake on that regard. But you see, really, all I had to do is get away from the dogs, is to go forward. And all you have to do to get away from that which is holding you back is to go forward. That doesn't mean to let go of everything that's made you who you are today. If you're like me and you're 65 years old, hey, where you've been, who you are, who you've been with, that's made you who you are. Learn how to say thanks, learn how to embrace them, learn how to celebrate them. Learn how to discover the very best out of every moment in that regard. But don't let it draw you backwards. My dream in the little apartment on Nieto startled me so much. This is the reason why, because John and his wife Stephanie and kids were there. My grandchildren, needless to say, have no idea that I ever lived on Nieto Avenue. I was just a kid living there. And somehow here was this little apartment with my grandchildren in it, and I was a grandfather again, celebrating in this little apartment that I lived in decades ago. And so somehow in my mind's eye, good things from different eras in my life all came together in this one moment. That's the way our lives can be today. The good things from the past and the good things from the present can all come together and make today exactly what it's supposed to be, and can make us exactly who we're supposed to be when we decide, you know, I'd rather not be unstuck just bouncing around from one time to the next, but I'd rather be firmly planted in today, celebrating every place I've been, looking forward to wherever it is that I'm going. Hey, one great reason to do this is because you're miraculous. And when you get a handle on your time frame in life and on the beauty of every single spot you've been and every place that you're going, it allows you to be the miracle for everyone that you need. And you're amazing. And the people around you, they need you to be the miracle today. God bless you. Wander in the right house today. God bless you. Keep on to the great memories. Don't be unstuck in a way that's just bouncing you around. God bless you. Have a fantastic day. I look forward to sharing your miracle.